Instead of going, kaulah satu-satunya. It's like, kaulah satu-satunya. It's a machine.
Good morning. You're listening to The Breakfast Grille. I'm Shazana Mokhtar. We're taking the opportunity on the show today to focus on what unites us as a nation. Malaysian songstress Dato Sheila Majid is one of a select group of national figures that is capable of transcending societal divides through her timeless music. So joining me on the show today is the music legend herself, Sheila Majid. Welcome to The Breakfast Grille.
Hi, good morning.
Now, you are celebrating 40 years in the music industry this year, which began with your debut album Dimensi Baru in 1985. So take us back in time and give us a picture of what the scene was like in the mid-80s. Did a young Sheila Majid come in with the aim of shaking up the industry, of really reintroducing a fresh sound?
Well, frankly, I didn't plan to be a singer. I didn't plan to make music as my career. I love music, yes. My parents sent me for classical piano at the age of 4, even before I went to kindergarten. And I'm the youngest in a family of 8. I have 8 siblings. And the house was always full of music. I have 3 elder sisters, 4 elder brothers, and we had a variety of music playing in at home. And I somehow got attracted to rhythm and blues, R&B music, yeah. So music has been a part of my life even from young, and but my father was an academic man. He studied in Oxford. He's an Oxford graduate, and surely he wanted his children to also follow his footsteps. So to be a singer, I was singing in school, in the choir, all that. I was very active in school, but to make it as a career, I think that was going to be pretty difficult to try and convince my father.
But you did.
I did. I had to strategize though.
Yes.
I had to be smart about it. And anyway, I love being listening to music in the 80s. Until today, I still find that music in the 80s is more melodious. It has messages, and good messages that it transcends to the audience that's listening to it, as opposed to today. I don't know. Today, I guess maybe the lyrics, they use a lot more slang. And some of it I don't really understand because I'm old school probably, yeah. And that's the difference I find today. In the 80s, when you listen to the radio, and you'll hear a song that would really capture you. And then you say to yourself, hey, I'm going to go look for the song. I'm going to go buy the record, which is not what's happening today.
Right. When you came in on the 80s, though, your sound was noticeably different from what was available, right? Was that something that you cautiously wanted to cultivate?
Definitely. Because I already know the genre of music that I like, and I want to do something like that.
And it wasn't heard in the airwaves at the time?
Not really, because at that time when I came out, I think heavy metal was big, and then they also had the pop Melayu. And then, they have the traditional stuff and things like that. But the genre that I was doing wasn't really there. That is why they labeled me jazz. I mean, the jazz part, it wasn't me that actually said I'm a jazz singer. But I guess at that time, the media didn't really know what to categorize my music. I mean, at that time, everyone has to be categorized. I don't know why, yeah? And so they just labeled me as a jazz singer.
So you didn't fit the whatever existed, we'll put you in jazz.
Correct. But actually, I'm a pop singer. Yeah, I do have the elements of jazz in my music, but you cannot call me a totally jazz singer, yeah? And I wanted something different, something that I would love to do and carry on in years to come. Not like, for example, because this kind of genre is selling now, we'll do this. And then in future, we'll change.
Okay.
I don't want to do that because then I'm going to confuse my fans.
So just like your music idols, you wanted something timeless that could stand the test of time.
And something that I enjoy singing, something that I can actually relate to and menjiwai, instead of singing something that, just because it's selling at that time.
It has to come from the heart.
Exactly.
Genuine emotion.
That is very important. And so I'm really happy with the decision that I made, although I had a lot of opposition on it. And, I was working with a label. And of course, labels want to make money. And they're saying like, oh no, people are not going to accept this. This is a bit too progressive and blah, blah, blah. But so I had to make a deal with them, as in like, they gave me Pengemis Muda and I didn't like that. I didn't like the song, but that song became a hit, right? My first hit, right? And I was like, no, this is not the direction I want to go. I want to do something like Dia, And eventually we came up with agreement that we'll have Pengemis Muda in that first album, but we must also have Dia. And then as we went to the MOC, we went more towards that Dia kind of direction, and that's when we educate the fans on the progression of my music. Yeah.
Sheila, when you first came to the attention of music producers, it was an impromptu performance at Raintree Club at the age of 17.
Yeah.
Nowadays, though, a viral TikTok post can get the attention of record label scouts.
And talent scouts, exactly, yeah.
Has it gotten easier to get discovered in light of social media? Or does this just mean that the competition for attention is fiercer?
Both. One, yes, the competition for attention is fiercer. And number two, it's easier because you get talent scouts looking at social media and then pick you out from from all that whole pool that's in there. But the most important thing is, you need to maintain it. How shall I put it? To be famous is really easy today. You can be an influencer. You can be anything lah. You put yourself in the social media, and you get viral and you get famous. But how long is that going to last? It's just probably a split second, and tomorrow someone else comes up and they forget you. Yeah. So, getting discovered in social media is really easy. But once you are taken in and you become the artist of that particular label now, this is when it starts. How do you maintain that interest?
What do you then make of the ecosystem of the music industry today? Is it set up to put new artists on the best path forward, do you think? Or are there challenges for them to go further than the initial viral TikTok or the initial first single?
Me, there are so many competitions on finding talent. And then they win. And then what? There's no artist management or artist grooming how shall I say it, body that takes them in and groom them. And therefore, they just, the flame just fizzles out after that. Because, the kids, when they win a competition, they are really raw. And then because they are famous through social media, their name is big and they're being thrown into this industry, and then they can't handle it. They get culture shock. Everyone's looking at them. Everyone's talking about them. Everyone's commenting that some are negative, some are positive, and it does weigh a lot on their shoulders, because they are new. Whereas when during my time, when we start, there's no social media, so we had that space
to make mistakes,
to learn, to grow. And people's expectations on us also is not really that high when we first started. And people are a bit more forgiving. Unlike today, you win a competition, you have no experience whatsoever. You're really raw. You're put on stage and you have that talent, great. But then there are the other aspects that they were not ready. And that's what happens. They lose, they become demoralized when they get negative comments.
Is that a function of the individual coming into the industry, or is it the industry itself that perhaps doesn't have the right framework or safeguards or guardrails or institutions?
I think it's the industry itself. A lot of these raw talents come in thinking that the industry is ready. We're not like United States or some other places where they all have an artist management company already. When the person wins a competition, the next thing you know, all these agencies are coming up, to get them to sign up. And the agencies, the artist management agencies, are the ones that groom the artists, sets their image, what are the promotions they're supposed to do, plan their whole itinerary for them. Whereas for us, we have to do that all ourselves. And for us, sometimes, it's people that have no experience in being managers that are managing artists. And sometimes over here, artists seem to think that their managers know better and they just leave everything to their managers. They need to be involved. In fact, actually, they need to teach their managers how they want things to be done and what they would do and what they won't do.
So there is still a lack of autonomy in a way in terms of what artists...
That's why a lot of artists here kena tipu. So most importantly is you really need to know you open your eyes, look out, look at videos, look at other artists, look at what people are doing outside, and then learn from them. And especially like me, I never had, we have this Academy Fantasia, remember? And they had all the teachers there, which is great. I mean, I feel envious when I watch that, because like you come in and you have all these people guiding you, doing things for you, you know. Whereas during my time, we had to do it all on our own. Yeah.
So there are differences and there are trade-offs between coming up in the 80s and coming up now in the 2020s.
I think it's quite, it's more challenging now because everyone's out to make money and you don't really know who you can trust. Yeah. Just because a person has a big name and he's famous does not mean he has ethics. And that's very important. You need to know his background. You need to know the character. Yeah. So basically, it's just like when I get someone to work for me, I don't see their credentials or experience or whatsoever. I see their character.
So it has to go deeper than what's on paper, essentially.
Because say for example, if they're messy at home, it doesn't mean that they come to work, they're not going to be messy. The character is there. If they are dishonest, there's definitely going to be dishonest when they work for you. So good character to me is more important than money, than credentials, than whatever qualifications you have, It's boils down to character. Yeah.
New artists need to do their research, try to get informed, especially as we have the internet and we can find things out, right?
And just because that person has been in the industry for a long time does not mean that he knows everything. He may be able to talk good, they can just talk. But what about results? That you got to see too. Yeah.
And speaking of results, I think I want to talk a little bit about what it means to sustain a livelihood as a music artist in Malaysia today. Because we've seen the industry evolve so much, right? In the past 4 decades, we've got the advent of digitalization. There is streaming now. How has this changed the income streams for singers like yourself? And what does that actually mean to be commercially successful today?
Well, let's put it this way. Just because your music is out on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes, it doesn't mean that the artist gets paid, yeah. Everything that's on social media that you guys are enjoying out there doesn't necessarily mean it equates to income for us, because a lot of streamings are done for free. And this is the thing that I want to bring up. We have no guidelines on digital platforms or social media, and this is where the government needs to come in and help us. Do not disturb the guidelines that are already there. We are good already. We are fine. Yeah, but it's on these digital platforms and social media that we need to find that points where people use our music and they have to pay.
Okay, so there is a vacuum there in terms of ensuring that royalties are collected for music that's paid online.
Digital platforms.
What is the policy discussion like? How is the government looking at this vacuum?
I have no idea. I brought it up before. I'm still waiting for some sort of meeting on how do we deal with this.
Actually, the government did introduce new guidelines earlier this year that's supposed to take effect in 2026.
That is guidelines on music playing in cafes, in karaoke's, in public places, not digital platforms.
I see.
They have not touched that at all because I think no one really knows how to go by. It's actually a worldwide problem also, yeah.
So would you say then that the outside of the digital platform space, royalty collection still seems to be an issue though, right?
It depends. Right now, when people talk about royalties, what royalties are you talking about? Are you talking about mechanical royalties? That is CDs selling. CDs don't sell anymore today. Everyone's streaming through, digital platforms, right? And there are also royalties on many other aspects like merchandise or whatever. So when they mention royalties, what royalties are you talking about? Because as far as I know, the royalties that the bodies, the collective monetary organizations are collecting, these are paid to our members. Okay. And they are enjoying the royalties. The ones that are complaining, firstly, they're not our members because we checked. And number two, you have to be definite. Because when you talk to the media and you just say royalties, everyone's going to look at us. the collective monetary organizations, because we are collecting, but we are collecting on a different form of royalties, which is music that is being played in public places, in cafes, in hotels, karaoke, one-off public performances, like, if you do events, we collect royalties on that only.
Okay. We're still talking about just getting payment for digital streaming. We haven't even gone into artificial intelligence, which is the next big thing when it comes to the music industry. Are you excited or worried about how AI could impact the future of music?
Frankly, there's the pros and the cons, yeah. The other day, someone came up to me and said, listen to this song. And when I listened to it, and he said, AI did all this, even the vocals.
Could you tell?
I could, but I don't really know about the layman out there, because there's no soul in it, there's no feeling in it. It was just like, sing lah. Instead of going, kaulah satu-satunya. It's like, kaulah satu-satunya. It's a machine, right? But then the layman out there don't really know. And this person was really impressed by it. But I wasn't, because to me, it still needs a human being to play music. Music is art. It touches you, moves you. This seni, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can have the machine doing the music and all that, but somehow or rather the dynamics when someone is playing an instrument or when someone is singing or talking, it's different lah. I can't really explain it, but I guess you know what I mean, right?
I do.
Yeah,
but are you not worried that AI
I am worried.
Could get good enough to embody that?
That's when we need to have some guidelines on it, But right now, where RPM is concerned, if you do music through AI, you're not entitled for royalties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the clauses in RPM, Recording Performance Malaysia. Because how do I count that machine? It's not a human being. Although it's making music. But in fact, if you ask me, I really don't like AI, because I think that's dangerous. If it's wrongly used, they might end up attacking us back. Yeah, so that's something that we really need to look into. Yeah.
Give your business the edge it needs with You Business Enterprise Solutions. Collaborate with us for unbeatable possibilities. Leverage on our 5G network and bespoke solutions to elevate your business in today's digital landscape. You Business Enterprise Solutions. 5G makes business sense.
I want to spend some time looking at how we can make Malaysian music more well-known beyond our borders. Now, you have cultivated a regional presence starting very early in your career. You gained an Indonesian fan base that outpaced your Malaysian presence in the early years, and you were also the first Malaysian artist to top the Japanese charts. So were these breakthroughs in foreign countries lucky coincidences, or was there a particular strategy of building your name abroad?
I think it's lucky coincidences. I never really planned. I never planned to sing as a career, right? Number two, for it to have gone into Indonesia, to me, alhamdulillah, I'm grateful for that. And then Japan also. But none of these were planned. You see, with me, I just love to sing. And I just move on and carry on singing without thinking like, in 5 years' time, I need to be here. I need to win this award. All that was never in my mind. I just do it. I stay true to my craft, and just do good music and talking about breaking internationally. Yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful lah, because like I said, it was never planned, But what really is interesting is I'm singing totally in Malay.
That is interesting.
Indonesia is a Malay market anyway, but Japan, I was singing in Malay and people still accepted my music. And so therefore, it goes to show music is universal.
Why do you think your particular music was able to have that cross-border appeal, even in Malay, right? And other musicians have not really been able to emulate it to that level as yet. They've either had to change language, like Dato Sheikh having to sing in French, or Yuna having to break into the English market, but you haven't had to do that. I suppose, why do you think it works in some situations?
I guess because my music is very progressive. the music alone, take off the lyrics. If you put in any other language, it can still be accepted by any market. You know, it just so happened my lyrics are in Malay. That's all I can say.
So there was a vibe to it that just fit in what the demand of the music market was at the moment.
You know, because I never really planned that, you know, to venture into other markets. It was them that came over and said, you know, we really like to actually market your songs over there, and why not? Yeah.
So you never, how to say, chased that fame abroad?
No, I never chased fame, actually. Yeah, you know, yeah.
But if you look at, I suppose, other Malaysian artists today that have tried to make a name abroad, they haven't really been as successful, right? Are there challenges, I suppose, for Malaysian music to be heard and appreciated beyond our borders in any language, whether it's Malay or English or Mandarin?
Ayo, I really don't know how to answer that, you know, yeah? There's no special recipe or strategy.
Or policy?
Yeah, you know, but I think you just got to work hard lah, and like what you do, you know, be sincere in whatever you do, you know, be nice to people, no need to be arrogant. And
do you think the government should come in and have a more targeted policy for soft diplomacy?
Actually, you know what, come to think of that, today in our country, as you can see, we don't really appreciate arts as much as our neighbors, you know. As you see, our appreciation towards the arts also is very poor compared to our neighbors. Our children are not shown our culture and our tradition. I ask my children whether they know what's Borea, they don't know. What's Dike Barat, they don't know. They only know a lot more Western music. And this is something we need to bring back into schools if we want our children to be patriotic with our arts and our culture. Yeah. And you know, sometimes people say, oh, music ni tak important, arts ni tak important, it's all academics. But it takes everyone to make a country. Some kids are not academically inclined. You know, maybe their strength is somewhere else. And this is something that we need to nurture and cultivate. Vocational schools, you know, because we need people like that too.
So really recognizing the diversity of skills and talents.
Correct.
But Sheila, I would, playing the devil's advocate, some might say that, hey, you turn to R&B, which is not Malaysian culture.
But I'm still singing in Malay, remember that? I have not forgotten my mother tongue, the language. I'm not singing in any other language. All right? Maybe my taste in music is more into R&B, things like that, but it's still in Malay.
You gave it a Malaysian flavor. It's something that you managed to translate.
There was one time when, back to that, someone said like, oh, Sheila Majid's music is not Malaysian enough. And I'm like, I'm singing in Malay and it's gone abroad. Not changing the lyrics to English or any other language, but Malay, you know? So how Malay can I be? You want me to sing traditional, but that is already a different genre.
And there are people who do that genre.
Exactly, you know? So we have to look at it as a whole, as in like, don't just have to be Malay, Malay, Malay.
There's no one template for what makes Malaysian music, right?
We do have our tradition, our culture. We have our zapin, our joget, but that comes from Irama Malaysia. That's one genre. Yeah, and then we have our heavy metal, also singing in Malay, but dia punya inspiration is from where? Also the West, but it's in Malay. Somehow or other, it brought in that Malaysian feel to it, right? Same thing with my music. So this is the thing. I mean, sometimes we are too narrow-minded in certain ways, but we forgot like our identity, as in our arts. That's what shows who we are.
Right.
You know, our batik, banyak lah, you know kan.
It is so broad.
It's so broad.
And people tend to look at it in a very pigeonholed kind of way.
And we are people who are very artistic. You know, but somehow or other that's not being nurtured. Everyone's into making money, business, profit, academic and all that. Yeah, but that's one sector of our people. What about the rest? You can't just leave them behind. I mean, like me, for example, Maybe my dad was an Oxford graduate. My other siblings were all academically inclined, but I'm not. But it didn't make me a failure.
You've managed to pave a very unique path for yourself that should be open to more Malaysians.
Most importantly is mindset, attitude. How do you look at things? And that's how you're going to form your life in future. When you have a good head on your shoulders, and you know that even if you're not good academically, there are other aspects in life that you can use to succeed.
Sheila, your musical legacy is cemented through classics like Sinaran, Antara Anya dan Jakarta, and Lagenda, which remain fan favorites. Have you felt the need to reinvent your music or your sound to appeal to newer audiences or stay relevant?
Not really. Maybe technicalities in the technical side, we use new sounds, or new technology that's come in. But when it comes to the, how shall I say it, the form, the whole thing of you still hear Sheila Majid. Kalau kita dengar Dimensi Baru to Boneka, you can see the difference in the production. It has become a bit more progressive, a bit more... The quality lah, let's put it that way kan. Because yelah, kalau nak katakan dulu and sekarang, we have more equipment that can make things sound better, right?
What about your latest single, Moving On? Doesn't that have a slightly different sound from the past?
It's still Sheila Majid in the 80s, But the sounds in there is maybe a bit different than the ballads that I do. And the reason why I did that is because I just want to change, because I'm known as a ballad singer, and today I find I have younger fans listening to my music, and I find that my music is being remixed in the festivals by all these DJs. So I thought it'd be nice to do something like that, where it would also it would it would appeal to the young fans and not lose the old Sheila Majid feel for the older fans.
Right.
Yeah. And the message in there actually is important, because in today's world, everyone's into social media, right? And everyone has a comment. And sometimes the netizens, the comments are not really nice. And it can be demoralising to people who are not used to being commented. Like people like me, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't kill me. I don't care. I move on. So I like to teach the young. This is what you should be, how you should actually use social media, as in to share knowledge, to give out information, to learn, and not to take the comments of the netizens too hard, because who are they? These are strangers. You don't even know. It could be an 8-year-old boy. And then you are answering and arguing with him, So what matters is only the people who matters around you, what they think of you, and not the strangers out there.
The song carries such an important message of staying true to what your niat, to what
especially today, it does. It does. I mean, this is the message I like to tell the young, because today I see people committing suicide, depression, and all because of social media. And the people that are commenting on you are people you don't even know. So forget it, because these are people who have nothing better to do but sit out there and just want to bash people. I guess they feel better when they do that. So why are you giving them the time of day? Most importantly is the ones around you. Whatever their opinions matter than whoever's out there. Yeah.
Speaking of this age of social media, Sheila, there's intense scrutiny on celebrities and what they choose to platform. But we're living in this age of polarization where anything can become a political hot potato, right? It's something that you experienced back in 2017 when you made observations about the cost of living. Is it safer for entertainment?
And you know what? Whatever I said is happening now.
It's still the case, isn't it?
Right?
Cost of living is still such an issue.
And it started from then. I got a lot of this bashing, say, what do I know about economy? I don't know. But hey, I am a housewife. I go to the supermarket or the market. I see when the prices are rising. And yes, I did make that statement because I am a citizen of this country and I pay taxes, and I'm asking you, what is going on? But what I got back was a lot of lashback. But the thing is, they forgot. I'm I am an artist. I've been in this business for 18 years. Whatever you say is not going to kill me. It means nothing. But I have said my piece. I've sent my message as a citizen of this country. And I think I speak for a lot of other people also. And it got attention.
It did get attention.
And that is most important.
And a lot of support as well. I'm
suppose, glad, yeah.
Do you think entertainment figures should be taking political stances?
No. To me, no. But as a citizen, you need to speak up lah. You know, what I said when I sent out that tweet is not because I'm Sheila Majid. It's because I am a citizen of this country and I see what's happening and I'm going through it too. And I'm just asking, get our country back on track. Why are you being so defensive? Right? Yeah. And what I said, that I did one tweet until today, it's so powerful. I don't know why. It is still circulating. But what I said that time is what's happening now. If we had been more careful that time, maybe we would have to go through all this that we're going through today.
In the little bit of time that we have, Sheila, and in the spirit of Merdeka, from your musical perspective, can I ask, what makes a good Merdeka-themed song, and do you have a favorite?
What makes a good Merdeka-themed song? It depends. You want it upbeat or heartwarming?
What speaks to you most, I suppose? What do you like singing most when it comes to the Merdeka season? What song what comes to mind?
For me, it'd be Warna. Yeah. But if the heartwarming one is probably Kumohon. Yeah. And, frankly, I love my country. I travel so much. I meet so many people. I have my grievances with my country. I mean, I'm sure everyone has, with their own country. But I think Malaysia is the best place to live. I mean, the people are so united. I mean, forget about politics. All right? I hate politics anyway, and it segregates people. I love the way we are with each other. When I go out to the shops or go out and I meet people, all walks of lives, Malay, Chinese, Indian, we are very united. And we love each other. We do help each other. I mean, I've seen neighbours where, you talk, you say, you hari ni you boleh keluar tak? Saya sakit kaki. Saya nak pergi kedai. You nak beli apa? I buy for you. We have that. Don't spoil it. And just because of your own greed or your own personal gain or ambition or whatever, that's you. Don't segregate the people because Malaysians are united. And we are together and we love each other and we love our country. This is our motherland, and where we going to go? If you leave and you go to another country, trust me, you're not going to be treated the same as how their citizens are treated. And there's no place like home. So we need to look after our country. Kita kena jaga. Look after each other because this is all we have. And to me, those who want to segregate us and, put all these whatever issues to try and get us to fight, just stop it. Yeah.
Sheila, thank you very much for those
Thank you. I'm
words.
so sorry I'm being so emotional, but I love my country and I hate the direction it's going. Yeah.
Happy Merdeka Day.
Same
Dato
to
Sheila.
you. Happy Merdeka, everyone.
I've been speaking to homegrown Malaysian artist Dato Sheila Majid. This has been The Breakfast Grille on BFM 89.9.